Welcome to Chaomix. Sonic is often depicted as a wandering spirit, guided only by intuition and instinct. He's free as the wind, here one moment and gone the next, going wherever his next adventure takes him. This is cool and all, but this raises a serious question. Where does this guy eat, sleep, or even perform basic daily hygienic routines? Does Sonic have a set place of his own to call his home? Or is he really out here roughing it in the wilderness like some sort of forest goblin? This has definitely crossed my mind a few times since my childhood days. Seriously, where exactly does Sonic live? I mean, the dude's gotta sleep. Is this guy literally taking naps on makeshift mattresses made out of leaves? Or is he just constantly crashing on his friends' couches? Who are all confirmed homeowners, by the way. What's your excuse, Sonic? Join me today as we ask the hard-hitting question, where the heck does Sonic live? Listen, if Sonic doesn't have a home, how's this dude keeping up with his basic daily hygiene? Sonic, if you're out there and listening, I've got just the thing for you. If you've known me for any amount of time, you'll know that I value a good clean shave. But let's be real, some of the blades out there are so ridiculously overpriced, it's like they're made out of gold or something. But it doesn't have to be this way, thanks to today's sponsor, Harry's. Harry's is the real deal, folks. I've personally been using them for almost 10 years, all the way back when I was first able to even grow facial hair back in high school. They make their blades in their own factory in Germany, which has been in the business of creating top-notch blades for a century. These guys balance quality with affordability perfectly. They're not about exploiting your wallet, they're about providing a fair price for a quality product. That means no pink tax, just an honest factory direct price. And trust me when I say, your skin will thank you for this one. These things have given me some of the cleanest shaves of my life. Whether it's for a job interview, date night, or simply feeling refreshed, Harry's has got you covered. Use the link in my description to get a Harry's trial set for just $5. That's a $13 value for just $5. Huge thank you to Harry's for sponsoring today's video, and with all that being said, let's continue with today's episode. Where the heck does Sonic live? Well, like many of the other meaningless Sonic lore tidbits I like to talk about, this one's a bit convoluted. In an episode of Tails Tube, it's revealed that Amy doesn't actually know where Sonic lives, but she thinks that he just goes from place to place, depending on where his adventures take him, and camps out when he needs a break. Now, this is very interesting as it aligns with how we usually see Sonic in his off time, lounging around wherever he chooses, like the pool area in the Station Square hotels or in the jungle of the Mystic Ruins. And even though it's within a completely different continuity, we often see Sonic out and about in Sonic X as well, despite him and his friends being allowed to live in the Thorndyke family's attic. Such a sweet gig, by the way. It's possible that Sonic doesn't have a permanent home because he doesn't need one. He's always on the move and seems perfectly content sleeping with wherever he happens to be. Sonic's a guy that loves freedom, so I'm sure he enjoys not being tied down to any one place. And being faster than the speed of sound, getting from place to place is literally a walk in the park for him, so I can't really blame him. Plus, I'm sure if need be, he's able to crash at Tails' place from time to time, which is something that's actually confirmed on that same episode of Tails Tube. And I mean, especially given that most of his friends are homeowners, it makes sense. Oh, what, that homeowners part? Yeah, that's a real thing. In Sonic Adventure, we see that Tails has his own workshop in the Mystic Ruins. And in the beginning of Amy's story, we can see her hauling back some groceries before she gets mixed up in that story's adventure. I can only imagine she was on her way back from a grocery run to some kind of apartment in Station Square. But it seems like Sonic's friends are also always on the move because we can see in Sonic Battle, many of Sonic's friends have houses throughout the various maps of the game. Tails with his house shaped like his own head in Emerald Town. Typical egotistical genius. Amy in Central City with a room in her house being one of the playable arenas in the game. And Cream and Cheese since they frequently show up here, presumably living somewhere nearby even though we don't specifically see their house. We can specifically see their house in Sonic X though, back on Sonic and Friends' home world. Heck, even everyone here has their own house. Tails, Amy, Cream's family, everyone but Sonic. And I guess Knuckles too, but this video isn't about him, is it? So, like Amy says, Sonic just doesn't have a house, right? Well, I don't know. Amy didn't seem too confident about this. She specifically says she doesn't think Sonic has a home.
I don't think Sonic has a home.
Interesting. Because what if I told you that there were multiple instances we can see that Sonic does have a home? And in the video games, no less. The first appearance of Sonic's house would be in Sonic Shuffle, a weird little Sonic-themed party game for the Dreamcast. Think Mario Party, but if it were really bad. So basically normal Mario Party, but anytime I'm not winning. There's an area called the Sonic Room, where Sonic can sit down, relax, and go through his scrapbook of in-game unlockables. Any reasonable person's favorite pastime. I don't know, there's just something so funny about Sonic casually sitting down in the middle of a nearly empty room. It's literally like one of those "men really live like this and see no problem" tweets. Shit. We can also see what's presumably Sonic's house in Sonic and the Secret Rings. The game begins with Sonic taking a fireside nap on his couch, but covering his face. That is, until he's woken up by a mysterious voice. But who cares about that? Look at all this stuff he's got here, like, damn. Men really do live like this and see no problem. But there are also instances outside of the video games that Sonic has a house, like in this official screensaver art showing Sonic once again cozying up in what's assumed to be his house reading a book, all while Tails is outside in the cold, probably freezing to death, begging for Sonic to let him in before the frostbite reaches his fingertips. Let the poor dude in, for God's sake. In the Sonic OVA, where his house is literally just a pile of scrap built on the wreckage of an airplane, probably the most Sonic thing of all time. In the Archie comics, Sonic has a house in Knothole Village that we can see right here with this little Sonic head mailbox and the cool windows that look like the old school title screen logos. A nice little touch. Sonic even has his own house in Sonic Boom. Yeah, it isn't as modern as some of the others, but it's definitely a place to at least have some kind of morning hygienic routine. Sonic even has his own room in the movies, race car bed and everything. So I guess Sonic doesn't have a house, except for when he does. So which is it? Well, like many of these other tidbits of Sonic lore, it's not consistent. It's complicated. Big surprise, I know. Hell, even recently, some of the older established lore has been challenged by Sonic Prime, which is apparently canon, claiming that Sonic and friends live and have always lived in Green Hill Zone. Anyone who knows even a little bit about Sonic lore would know that this makes no sense. Tails debuts in Sonic 2, which takes place on West Side Island, Amy and Sonic CD nearby Never Lake, Knuckles on Angel Island, and yeah, we get introduced to Sonic in this iconic first zone, but according to his Japanese lore, Sonic is originally from a small island known as Christmas Island. And even assuming maybe they moved there afterwards or something, no they didn't. I mean, again, we see that they have homes pretty much everywhere but Green Hill Zone. Station Square, the Mystic Ruins, Emerald Town, their little village on their planet in Sonic X. Speaking of planets, quiz time. Do you know which planet Sonic and friends live on? Is it A, Earth, or B, Mobius? If you answered either one, you're actually wrong. The true answer is none of the above. Kind of. You see, Sonic doesn't live on Mobius. Mobius was just a name the localization team used for early Sonic lore back when American Sonic was kinda just doing whatever the heck he wanted. And obviously the comic books and TV shows too, which again kind of did whatever the heck they wanted, all to the Japanese lore. Since Sonic Adventure, the Japanese lore pretty much took over and Mobius hasn't been a thing in the game since the 90s. But Sonic also doesn't quite live on Earth. Yes, he lives on a planet resembling Earth with humans and Sonic characters just kind of living together in harmony, but the way they refer to Earth, or sometimes how they specifically don't refer to it as anything, seems to be very intentional. Go through pretty much every single Sonic game and you'll notice that the name of the planet that Sonic and friends inhabit is hardly ever mentioned, well, with a few small exceptions. A few times in Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Battle, and once in Sonic Unleashed. But it's really weird because, as some of you might already be noticing, the E in Earth is never capitalized. And since Earth is a proper noun, the E in Earth should be capitalized, but it's not. Other than these select few instances, every other game straight up does not refer to Sonic's planet as Earth. In fact, they usually very specifically do not refer to it as anything. So what does this mean? Well, here's my own personal take. I think the name of Sonic's planet is meant to be ambiguous. It's a made-up world that resembles our own planet, but it obviously isn't, given how its continents are shaped completely differently and has talking animal people living in it. At the end of the day, the name doesn't really matter and only convolutes things if brought up. I mean, look at me trying to frantically explain all of this right now. But chaomix, what about the few instances where lowercase e Earth is name dropped? Well, here's what I think. In the English language at least, the word Earth can sometimes be interchangeable with the words planet, soil, or ground. And in Japanese, the word Earth that they use, chikyu, is also interchangeable with the words globe or planet. So like when Shadow and Maria wonder what it's like on Earth, they're talking about what it'd be like to live on the surface or ground rather than floating in orbit on the space colony Ark. Or when Emerald threatens to fire a laser at Earth in Sonic Battle, he's specifically talking about destroying the very ground they walk on, their home. I don't know, it can't just be a coincidence that the planet is hardly ever name dropped, and the few instances when it is, they specifically write it out as a common noun. It's straight up a semantics thing, but it seems way too intentional to not mean anything. Man, who thought trying to dock Sonic would be so complicated? But perhaps the true beauty of Sonic's world does in fact lie within its ambiguity. Much like Sonic himself, Sonic lore seems to be mysterious and never tied down to a single definition. And I'd honestly argue, as a huge Sonic fan, and especially as a YouTuber, that's what makes it all the more irresistible to deep dive into. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a fat like and subscribe for more way past cool Sonic videos such as this. In the comments below, let me know, do you think the name of Sonic's planet is meant to be ambiguous, or is it literally just Earth? Huge thank you to my amazing channel members, and with all that being said, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Peace.